He leads us all the way, playing proper football, the Sheff United way. Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and anybody else who is joining me here today. Welcome to the Sheff United Way match reaction for what I think was just a really brilliant 2-0 home win against Norwich City. I'll be honest, I'm absolutely delighted with how that's played out today. I thought it was as comfortable as United are going to be with a home victory all season. I thought it was a really good performance. I think it's the best we've played maybe since Oxford in terms of the level of comfort, the way that we've just controlled a game and kept the opposition completely at arm's length. I thought we really did a job on Norwich today. I thought, given the players that we had available and the injury problems and all of the things that we've been worried about, I've been worried about, we were in such a horrible position coming into this game today. I thought, looking at the squad, looking at the team, I really expected us to struggle, and we just did not at all. That team turned up in a way that I didn't know that 11 players would be capable of. I thought they were just in control of the game all the way through. I thought the first half, the way that we attacked them, the way that we pushed forward, I thought that was outstanding. I've questioned the defensive ability of that back four. They were solid. They just didn't give anything away all game. I also think it's worth starting with a shout out for Wilder, because to get that group of players controlling a game at this level in the Championship is just fantastic management. He got his tactics absolutely spot on and did a job on Norwich, particularly in that first half. He made sure they never settled in the game, made sure they never had any momentum. He set us up perfectly to go out and win this game. I think he's done fantastic all season. The way that he's got this team playing, got this squad together. Yeah, just a really, really good afternoon, I thought, this one. United are back at the top of the Championship. -2 doesn't matter because we're first anyway. And it's just all those issues, all of those problems. There was a draw last night and we have just taken advantage of it straight away. I thought we really, really deserved that. But I am going to come to Chris's point. I normally come to the comments right at the end, but Chris makes a good point here. Norwich were pretty terrible. I thought that United controlled the game. I thought we stopped Norwich ever getting into their stride. I thought we stopped them from being able to do what they wanted to. But that doesn't excuse the fact that they were still pretty rubbish, and they never had a plan B, never really looked at how they wanted to come out of it. But, you know, we all know this is a United channel. We all know I'm a United fan, and everybody knows that I can tend to get just a little bit excited. So I'm now going to spend the next 10 minutes just telling everybody how brilliant I think United are, because I was really impressed with how we played today. If we look at the game and if we look at how we wanted this to go, I don't think that could have been really much better. So I'm going to be honest with everybody about where I was at. Before this game, I was raging. Anybody in the Sheff United Way Patreon group chat will know that I was not sat there looking at this squad thinking today would be a successful win. I didn't think that I would be as buzzing as I am coming out of this game. I thought we were going to lose. I thought at the best we could hope for was a draw. Anybody who saw my video on the channel last week will know that I've been really concerned about the partnership of Robinson and Anel. I was listening to Wilder's press conference yesterday and I was really concerned because I'd expected to have so many more players back fit and part of the squad today. I think I saw the press conference after Watford when Wilder was practically in tears saying how proud he was of the players winning that game, of the fact that despite us being at bare bones, they put out that performance. So for us to be here today and not have any of those players back and actually have Brooks missing from that squad, it just felt like we'd gone backwards from the Watford game. It felt like we had 2 weeks of January. We had 2 weeks with no games to get players fit, and we'd just gone backwards. I thought we'd see more. I thought we'd see Souza. I thought we'd see Raksake, and we didn't. And I think my exact words were, it takes something really special for United to get a result today. Well, United went out and delivered, and they got us a result today. I thought I should backtrack and say that I thought Robinson and NL were outstanding. I've raised my concerns, but they really controlled everything today that came forward. I thought they dominated aerially whenever Norwich tried to go long. I thought when they played it on the floor, both of them knew when to go and commit to win the ball early, but also knew when to give a little bit of space. I thought the only times Norwich got in behind, the pace in recovery from NL was really great to see. He was always capable of stopping their last man. He had a couple of moments where there was a difficult looking ball to deal with, and he was just the first one there to make sure that it was done in a calm manner. Yeah, I thought it was a really dominant defensive display from both of them. And I did want to shout that out because I do know that I went after them just a little bit last week. And so they deserve all the credit in the world for how they played today. So what actually happened in the game? Now, the first half, I thought this was all about that tactical battle that I referred to before. I thought Wilder got it absolutely spot on. So from the first minute, Norwich have got the ball. Every single time their keeper gets the ball, he's playing it to a centre-half. Centre-half plays it to the other centre-half. He plays it back to the keeper. And they did that for about 25 passes without going anywhere at all. They were just constantly passing around in this really boring circle of pass, 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 go nowhere, go back to the keeper and pass again. But what United did was just completely nail how you counter that type of tactic, how you take the game forward and you say, no, I'm not going to let you be calm. I'm not going to let you settle. I'm not going to let you bore our crowd to death. We deserve some excitement. And United really pushed that forward. We pushed Harmer. So Harmer, to say where he started in the 10 role, I thought actually he ended up playing as our front man, basically, when we were pushing the press forward. So he was the first one to go to contact that first centre-back who received the ball. Brewster then spread wide to cover the second centre-half, and our midfield stepped forward. So after they'd done their little triangle routine, what they wanted to do was have the two strikers pass so that McLean could drop in, receive the ball on the half turn, spin into midfield. But I thought both Davis and Peck did a fantastic job of backing that up so that McLean couldn't receive the ball to spin, and United just kept winning the ball high. It happened repeatedly all the way through this game, where whether it was Brewster or Harmer or O'Hare or one of Davis and Peck, whenever they tried to settle or come forward, United would win the ball high and create really nice opportunities. And that's actually where our first goal comes from. So United created a couple of really good chances. We'd started to build a little bit of momentum, but we felt like it had gone a little bit. We took a corner into the middle. It was a really clever corner. Took to the near post, Brewster flicked it on, and it falls to McCallum, who just got his volley all wrong. He didn't connect properly. It bobbled out for a goal kick. And you felt like, we've been building momentum, but we've probably let it go. But immediately, they take their goal kick, do their silly routine, and we won the ball back high. I think it was Peck who'd run it forward. He got to the edge of the box. His shot was blocked. And then Burrows then obviously fires in. First time, left-footed, fantastic volley. Should the keeper save it? Don't really care. It was miles over the line, and we actually did turn on our goal line tech, which is great to see. So I thought that goal really came from this repeated, what I've called in my notes, the press and swarm tactic from United, which it wasn't just an organised press from one or two players. It was an entire sort of midfield that swarmed together to make sure we were winning the ball, and it forced so many mistakes from Norwich all the way through that first half. They must have made 4, 5, 6 passing mistakes in that first half because of how United had played that tactic out. I did think that if Norwich were ever able to get out, the only way they ever caused United any problems was going down their right side. Our right side, their left. So I thought United had lined up in a similar sort of set up to how we played against Burnley. So O'Hare was out on the right wing, was then supposed to be backing up with Gilchrist whenever they'd got the ball. But I think he was drawn into that press. He was part of the press and swarm. And therefore, if they ever did manage to just break that first line, they got 2-on-1 down our right-hand side against Gilchrist. And I thought that was quite difficult for us for the first 15, 20, maybe half an hour, where I thought Gilchrist was struggling with the ball. I thought he was struggling without the ball. And that really looked like if they were ever going to create a chance, it was all coming down that side. But then after sort of 20 minutes, after 30 minutes, United had just taken control of the game, and Gilchrist really grew into it. He got better on the ball, probably typified by a really nice pass down the wing for O'Hare, which had created a chance for Brewster earlier in the half. But also, I think we'd found our position a little bit easier because we knew how well that press was working. Both O'Hare and Harmer could drop in on the right. So in terms of some of those other key moments, obviously we've touched on the goal a little bit. So let's go into what else happened in that half. Cooper, for some reason, just threw the ball out for a corner in a comedy moment of the first half. I think he just got his moment of release all wrong. I couldn't figure it out at first. I was like, why have they got a corner? What happened? But it just seemed as though the ball got stuck in Cooper's glove and he threw it out for a corner. Sometimes when you're United's goalkeeper and we give away no chances, you just get bored and you want to find a way to make yourself busy. And I think that's what he was trying to do at that point. Obviously, a little bit later in the half, Gus Harmer then nearly scored one of the most incredible goals you will ever see from halfway. Again, we'd pressed them really well. They lost the ball in midfield. The keeper had committed himself a little bit, but he's not really. I don't think he's even out of his box when this ball lands at Hamer's feet, and he just smashes it. It's a fantastic effort. He catches it perfectly. It couldn't be better weighted, the way that he's drilled this over the keeper. But, you know, unlike some other goals that are scored from the halfway line that may or may not have happened in the Championship in the last few weeks, this keeper actually tried to save it and stop it going in his net. So he charges all the way back. He jumps up to push it over the bar, and it ended up being a pretty decent save because it was a great effort from Gus. Would have been amazing to see that one hit the back of the net. And then right on half-time, it should have been 2-0. United created a fantastic chance. Norwich had been a little bit ragged. They'd not quite got themselves sorted. They kicked it long and it had gone to United's defence. Robinson played a beautiful ball straight through midfield, just bypassed everybody in midfield and straight to Harmer's feet. Harmer flicks it around the corner and O'Hare is in one-on-one with the keeper. He's got too much time, if anything. I think if he'd been closed down earlier, he probably would have scored. If he'd not been closed down at all, he probably would have scored. But the keeper comes out and he does get out quick and he does get onto him, but he's just got too much time with the ball at his feet. He delays and delays, ends up knocking it straight into the keeper's chest, where it was a fantastic opportunity and it should go in. That would have been 2-0, but obviously, as we know now with hindsight, didn't make that big of a difference. Interesting here from Oregon Blade, who tells me why Cooper managed to do that, almost as if he was trying to dummy throwing the ball because he changed his mind what he was doing, and that's how he got caught out. Either way, I hope it's on the highlights because I found it relatively entertaining. So into the second half, and I thought this was a much different game to how the first one had played out. I think Norwich did change up their style and their system a little bit. Rather than relying on that really slow, patient passing they were doing through defence, they tried to be a little bit quicker. We saw them going long a lot more often, but that was meat and drink for United. We were winning those balls. As they kicked it long, generally speaking, it was headed by either Anel or Robinson. They really handled that aerial threat well. When they tried to pass it and come into midfield, so rather than United playing in transition, where we're trying to win the ball high and create them problems that way, what was actually happening is we were letting them sort of play their quick pass now into midfield, but then Peck and Davis would just clean that up defensively. I thought Peck, I should say, he got my man of the match in our Sheff United Way Patreon group that we've been talking through. I thought he was outstanding today. I thought he really did win every single battle in that midfield. And I thought it meant that whenever they did try and come through us, he was always in the way, always there with that tackle. And then when he got the ball, he was always progressive, trying to take United forward. So I thought he had a really good game. And I thought that control in the second half, the way that we did just take control of it and make sure we kept Norwich at arm's length, a lot of that was down to Sidney Peck, who I thought had really done well in that central midfield. I think he's really grown into the season. You know, this is somebody who, you've got to remember, before this season started, had never played professional men's football. He was an under-21. He'd repeatedly played in the under-21s, and we thought, oh, there's a bit of a talent here. He's now starting every week for the team at the top of the Championship, and he's excelling. He looks so good. He gets better just about every time I see him. So really impressed with his performance today. Again, United scored. So if we look at some of those key moments that happened in the second half, the first one is United. Can we say we scored from a corner? I mean, we never score from corners, but there was a corner whipped into the box. The ball's bobbling around in defence, and McCallum does excellently. We have to say, you know, the ball's bounced. It's an easy clearance for the defender, but McCallum makes sure he gets there first. He puts everything in to just get in the first contact on the ball, meaning the defender has to kick him, and it's just a penalty. Unfortunately, it's one of those where they'll complain, but you've got to give that. He's got nowhere near the ball and just booted the man. And I was worried because United and penalties, I don't think they've gone together that well so far this season. Obviously, we've seen Kiefer Moore miss two. We've seen Brewster miss one in the Carabao Cup, I think it was. So I was a little bit nervous about what was going to happen when we were stepping up to take this. The ball was in Ryan Brewster's hands, and Brewster does brilliantly here because I was convinced he was taking it. I think everybody in the crowd was utterly convinced that he was taking this pen. He runs over, picks up the ball, looks all confident, lets all their players get all of their sort of time wasting and tactics out of the way, and then just passes it off to Burrows, and Burrows takes a perfect penalty. Don't think you could take one better. It is hard. It is straight into the corner. The keeper goes the right way. He's a big man. He gets down well, but you can't stop it when it's right into the side netting. A beautiful penalty and 2-0 to United. And from that point on, I thought United were just well in control of this game. My notes say things like, Michael Cooper's passing's good, because that was the kind of game that it became for United in the way that we were sort of in a little bit of cruise control in the second half. I think The pass, by the way, that made me say Michael Cooper's passing was good was the one to Harmer. He'd done one in the first half where he chipped it perfectly just over their two left wingers to Gilchrist on the wing, and Gilchrist then set O'Hare away. But this one in the second half was just beautiful. It was over all of the defence. It cut out the entire midfield, and Harmer was able to just run onto it. Now, he cut back. We didn't create, but it was just a perfectly weighted ball. I think seeing your goalkeeper do that gives you so much confidence, because we know he's a fantastic shot stopper, but that's what else he's got to the game, and it is brilliant to see. I thought in the second half, this is where they were probably a little bit lucky that this only finished 2-0, because their keeper at one point makes an absolute worldie of a save. I heard somebody behind me comparing it to Seaman, the really famous Seaman save in the Arsenal game, where United had done some beautiful work down the right-hand side. I think it was Hamer, Peck and O'Hare that were just interchanging passes in triangles. O'Hare finally got space and time in the box. He drills it across goal, where Brewster's either going to tap it in or the defender's going to deflect it in. And that's exactly what happens. The keeper stood at his front post. It goes past him. He can't do anything about it. Hits the defender, and it's bounced towards the net. And I have no idea how he reacts quick enough to turn around and tip this one over the bar. It's a worldie of a save. Really excellent. And it probably makes up for the fact that he basically chucked the first one in his net, because he really should have kept out the first goal. But this was a fantastic save. One of the best we'll probably see this season. So definitely deserved a shout out. And again, you can tell how control United were. My note says, Norwich did a sub. Gary Sinclair didn't know the sub's name. It was that kind of a game in the second half. So United were really in control of this. The only bits that were a concern, the only bits that really worried me were the injuries that it seemed like United picked up, because we've been really struggling. We've not had a fit squad for a long time now. We are at bare bones. So McCallum and Jack Robinson, I think it was, took each other out on a corner, which meant McCallum had to get subbed off. He came around clapping at the end, so hopefully that's nothing serious. But obviously really disappointing to see him potentially pick up an injury that could keep him out on Tuesday. And then there was the probably more concerning one, given what's happened in not just the recent weeks, but recent years in terms of this player. Tom Davis ended up going off injured. A really difficult scenario to judge what's happened there. He was trying to play a 1-2 with Hamer. Hamer felt he was fouled. I think Davis felt Hamer was fouled and therefore was a bit frustrated and really went into his next tackle with quite a lot of frustration, shall we say. I mean, some people might say he tried to leave one on him and he'd gone straight into it. But as soon as he's gone in for this tackle, as soon as he's had the contact with the player, he's just pulled up immediately. His hand's gone straight to his groin. I don't know if that means he's got a dead leg from the contact or if he's pulled his groin or done something muscular on the inside of his thigh. So we've got to hope that that is just a precaution. I've seen that Chris has just come into the chat to say he thinks this one was a precaution. So hopefully he's right. Hopefully it was a precautionary change that we've made. But that was obviously really concerning, because the one player I think we really don't want to see pick up more injuries is Tom Davis. It's been horrible for him for such a long time, and now he's building his fitness. He's consistently playing 90 minutes. I think he's really growing into the season as well and getting better all the time. It wasn't his best game today, particularly with the ball in possession. I thought he was quite loose today and did give the ball away in dangerous positions sometimes, but I've really enjoyed watching him grow back into this. So hopefully it is just a knock. Hopefully we're right and it is just precautionary. But of course, we play again on Tuesday and then on Friday. Somebody has got to be able to play in central midfield, and either we drop Harmer in because there might be a signing who can play on the left wing who was sat in the ground today. Or, you know, the other alternative is that Vinny Souza has to be fit. He has to come in and play next to Peck. So we'll see how that plays out. It'll be good to hear, obviously, from Wilder or when we get to Tuesday, how that team is going to be lining up. But yeah, we really have to hope that that's not a big injury and that he is just being taken off as a little bit of a precaution. So, yeah, that was the game, really. United just controlled it, won 2-0 pretty easily. And I think if we'd really wanted to, we could have won by more. We never got out of that sort of second gear. We allowed ourselves to control the game. It was tactically really well done. And so, yeah, just a really good performance, I thought, for United today. So let's go into some of your comments. Let's see what everybody else thinks about how that game has gone today. And Thomas just completely here. This is a message from 2:46 p.m., 15 minutes before kickoff. Thomas was here and he was starting to share his concerns about what that squad looked like. And that's exactly what I said before. I think it's where's the difference, what had changed. But actually, they showed that they didn't need it today. They showed that we've got the mentality in this squad. And so I'm glad I'm not the only one who was concerned and has a little bit of egg on his face because, yeah, they proved me immediately wrong. Brian, I think it's a great win. Just wants us to keep going, keep moving. Marcus agrees with that point I made at the end there. Just second gear. keep moving, keep winning, and just control the game. Now, let's go into a little bit more of those exciting details, though. And Chris points out that both Ben Brereton Diaz and Tom Cannon were spotted at Bramall Lane today. Now, I have definitely seen the images, the pictures of Ben Brereton Diaz. It does sound as though, hopefully, his move could be confirmed in the not too distant future. And as I was alluding to before, I think there's a chance he could even start on Tuesday. If he is in the door, if he is fit, then putting Harmer in central midfield and having Brereton Diaz play on that sort of left wing really does feel like a natural change for United to be able to make. I think that'd be a real positive for us on Tuesday, because it really does fill that gap in the squad we've got in central midfield while Sousa's not fit. And it gives us so much creativity and excitement through that potential attacking on the left wing. We don't lose anything and we gain quite a lot. So I really like that. I think that'd be a really good move. Matthew is really excited about the passing and the way that we sort of built our moves today. I thought today, O'Hare and Hamer, I've not mentioned them very much through my game reaction, but they were both outstanding. I thought their interplay together really created chances for United, really drove us forward. But it was also their pace, their energy that was a key part of that press. The reason we could do that in the first half is that they were both full of beans, absolutely charging around to make sure we got that. So they deserve a huge shout out. And I think in terms of the passing, it was them that were really leading that intricate play that really drove us forward. You're not wrong though, Matthew. It was blooming cold. I would almost argue that it was the coldest I've ever been. But for anybody who went to Cardiff, you know full well today's not the coldest that you've ever been, because there was a absolutely Baltic game that took place just over a week ago. And that was, that was cold. Coming to Carl, and he's pointed out there as well, you know, the fitness and the energy of O'Hare and Hamer, outstanding. I agree with you, Carl. I said this. I was on a Norwich podcast doing a preview show, and I said to them, I think we've got the best player in the league in Gustavo Harmer. I think when he's on it, there is nobody else at his level. And I think just those moments where you think nobody else on the pitch is thinking about doing that, and he does it and pulls it off. And that's just really great to have that player in our team, because he's outstanding. And as Chris says, that's as big a win as anything in this window. We know there were rumours in the summer. We know there was potential movement that was looking to happen to even with other teams in this division. So keeping him around and making sure that he stays, absolutely fantastic. And this was a funny moment. I didn't allude to it in my video. 28,000 blades breathing a sigh of relief when Burrows took that penalty. I did feel a bit sorry for Brewster because I thought he acted his role perfectly. I actually thought he had a pretty good game today. I think as Rhian Brewster games for Sheffield United go, he was involved. He was a massive part of that kind of forward structure that was causing them so many problems. He had 3-4 shots in the first half that were blocked, but at least showed him being really involved in the game. But yeah, as soon as that ball sort of went into Burrows' hands, you kind of heard Bramall Lane go, oh, thank God. Everybody seemed to have that same reaction. So it was, I feel for the lad. He just needs a goal. He needs one of those opportunities. But yeah, that one today, I think everybody was a little bit glad that Burrows took it, especially when you then saw what he did with the penalty, because it's an absolute beauty. Romeo just gets straight to the point, asking the difficult questions. Are we going up? If we can play like we've played today with that squad, and we can get better players in through January, like Ben Brereton Diaz or Tom Cannon, we can get our players back fit, Vinny Souza, Jez Raksake. All of a sudden, I think there is a lot of strength in this squad. I still think, for me to be confident we get promoted, I'd still like us to sign a centre-half. I think we need to replace Harry Souttar. I think if we replace Harry Souttar with another player who is at the same level as Souttar was playing, we will get promoted. If we can bring in that centre-half and guarantee that security, we will get promoted this season. My only concerns are if we don't manage to recruit that player, I'm still not quite sure of what the level is of the defence, albeit that I thought they were brilliant here today. If we go up, then I think we could be excited. I think new owners taking us into the Premier League and then looking to buy, I think that would be really exciting. I think that'd be a really good way of pushing us forward. Yeah, really would be excited. So let's hope that we are getting promoted and that I'm just being a little bit nervous. Claudia asked a really important question, though. Do we want to go up? Because being in the Premier League can be rubbish. But yes, I 100% want to go up, because the reason is that it's the money. And also, I've loved being in the Championship. I've loved not having VAR because VAR ruins football. It spoils it. All of the diving and the situations that you find yourself playing in, they spoil football. But it's the big party. It's where everybody wants to be for me. It's that kind of thing of if you're not in it, you might enjoy your Saturdays more, but there's not the same stakes, the same power, the same sort of importance put out to some of these games. So I do want to go up. I do think we are this close to being a squad and a team that is ready to do it. I just think it's one more player, one more way of us being able to push it forward. I think we're that close, Blades. We're top of the league. We're deserving to be top of the league. Regardless of what happens tomorrow, nobody in the Championship will have earned more points on the field than Sheffield United. And that is how good we've been so far this season. If we can maintain that, the sky's the limit. And there's no reason why. I'm looking at the Premier League this season. I'm seeing that Ipswich are joint on points. I think them and Wolves keep swapping who's going in the relegation zone, who's staying up. There's no reason that can't be us if we can play and be as consistent as we are at the minute. Wilder never got a proper closure to his time at United in the Premier League last time. I really hope he gets it this time. I've decided to end this video in a really weird way by just ranting about how much I want to play in the Premier League. But I think we're that close, and I think it is exciting, and I think we are on our way there. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm really excited after today. I thought it was great to be at Bramall Lane, a fantastic win, and we are top of the league. And that is great to say, great to hear. So I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And I look forward to seeing everybody again ahead of the game against Swansea on Tuesday. I'll be doing your match preview, so you get that to look forward to and a little bit more of my voice in your ears. Thanks very much, everyone.
Ollie, ollie, ollie.